Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, does not cost anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this is the magician. This is awesome. This is your ability to adapt. And really, this is kind of like, it's a card that's asking, what have we been adapting to in our life? And how can we change this? Okay? Have you been adapting? Because that's what we do as human beings, right? We find ourselves in a situation, whatever the situation is, and we try to do our very best. Okay? The magician is showing us that, yes, that's good. But just because you can adapt to something doesn't mean you should. So how can we make some choices, make some decisions, make some changes in life to give ourselves a better environment to adapt to? Right? It's kind of like we're trying to grow an oak tree. We're going to take a bunch of acorns and just randomly throw them out into the world. What about the ones that land on the concrete sidewalk? Well, they're not going to have much of a chance, right? The ones that maybe land in some good fertile soil next to some other trees or whatever, right? They might have a better chance of growing. So we have to be sort of intentional with our choices and how we're creating our world. We want to set ourselves up for success, right? You have such potential in you. And I think that you are starting to recognize this potential. You recognize that you are the magician. Okay? This is also the card of, I think, a high level of skill somewhere. Like you're highly trained in some aspect of life. Maybe you speak other languages. Maybe you're an engineer. You have some kind of technical expertise in something. Yeah? Let's put this all into some context and let's see how you are using your magic. You're using it in a responsible way. 3 of Wands. 8 of Wands. There is the High Priestess and the Princess of Cups and, the Chariot. Very nice. You're using it to become the vehicle of your destiny, the vehicle of your soul, your spiritual identity, right? Going forward this way with these major arcana energies. That's good, right? High Priestess leading to Magician, and the Magician, together these energies are traveling forward. All of that done with this sort of, the 3 of Wands is your virtue. Yeah, this is your ability to make the right decisions, even when it's difficult, knowing what changes to make, knowing what to implement in your life. I think that you're standing up for what you believe in. You're standing up for your dream. We've got the Princess of Cups up here, so I feel like you're prioritizing your I was going to say your feelings, but they feel stronger than that, right? It feels like it's your wishes, your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations. I feel like that's what you are prioritizing. We have no duty in life other than to discover what is within us and express it out into the world. Okay? And I think when we do this, of course, puts us into closer contact with other people. It arouses our compassion and our empathy. Okay? Gives us a sense of community. Let's put the rest of our cards out here. We have an 8. Interesting. 8 of Swords, 8 of Wands down here. But the Sun card. And a Prince of Wands and the 2 of Swords. Yeah, we're trying to sort through some overthinking, I think. We're trying to come up with some creative solutions to some problems right now. And I think that you're perhaps looking to, well, as we said at the very beginning, how can we change our environment? How can we give ourselves the best possible chances of becoming that oak tree, becoming that fully realized self of the Sun card, right? So I feel like you're identifying things in your life that you really want to change, other plans that you want to sort of implement, other things that you feel are going to make the best, lead to the best results and an improvement in your sort of situation in the world. Right. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. Look what we have there. A king or a prince of pentacles. So now we have both fire and earth here with the fixed fire and fixed earth energy, a volunteer card here. So it does feel like maybe we're a little stuck. If this is the difficulty, is just to mobilize our energy, and we get the fixed earth energy, maybe it feels like we're a little stuck. Our mystery card will go here with our tiny horse, Mr. Ed. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, all right? And this is casual day here on Dove and Serpent Tarot, so I hope you're in your jammies. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look around the room. We do have a lot of major arcana. Of course, on the horizontal path, you're looking for the... You're looking to live your purpose. You're looking to fulfill your destiny. You're looking to do everything that you can to become who you're meant to be, right? To become this fully realized self. So I feel that you're looking for answers in a way of what direction you're looking for, maybe creative solutions, right? There's a problem that needs to be solved here. I think you're realizing that, or maybe this is what Spirit's trying to tell you, that the problem you have right now is not going to be solved through thinking and analyzing and ruminating. The problem is going to be solved by this. This is underneath the surface in you. This is that hidden talent. This is a creative solution. This is an intellectual solution, which it just ties us in knots, right? Your creative solution, based on what you know to be your proper path, and it is a creative solution that is in accord with your sense of identity, your sense of self, and your perception of your spiritual path in life. That's the creative solution that's going to lead you forward. Okay? The solution to your problem right now, if we are feeling stuck, the solution is not going to be found in the intellect. We're not going to get the calculator out and the slide rule and make a pros and cons list and do the long division and show our work. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to lead you to any definitive answer. It's not a math problem, right? This is life. This is spiritual, emotional. This is depth. This is creativity. This is how the magician is trying to manifest the ideal conditions of life so that you can become who you're meant to be. You're trying to maximize the potential in your life, right? You're trying to be the best vehicle for your calling, for your destiny that you can be. So the magician is trying to figure out the right way to build the car and the right path, the right road to put the car on, right? Depending on what kind of road we have, that kind of says what kind of car we need, right? You're not going to take, if you're just, if you live in the mountains or the hills and rocks and mud and all this kind of stuff, it's not paved, it's all off-road, just, you're not really going to take your low-to-the-ground sports car with you, right? So what we have to do, if we find ourselves in this kind of muddy, rocky, hilly place, we need to bring the right car. And so that's kind of the adaptability here. We find ourselves in a situation in life, and it's like, okay, I have to become whatever I need to be in order to deal with this situation that's out here. That's one very important aspect of the magician. That's the adaptability. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. What if we flattened out the road? What if you paved it? What if you put yourself into a different place where the conditions require you to become something else? Something that you feel and perceive and, I think, acknowledge to be more in accord with who you are. See, I mean, that's the paradox of life, right? That's the terrain, and then I need to become the right vehicle for it. Or this is the vehicle I am, and I'm staying true to myself. This is not the terrain for me. If you are that low-to-the-ground sports car, Corvette or whatever, you need to find the right terrain for you. You need like some nice, smooth highways or something, right? Not the rocky, hilly, muddy terrain. You're going to get stuck real quick, right? So this is about understanding who we are and trying to stay true to who we are and to adjust our terrain, our landscape, our environment so that it can be more supportive of us rather than this is the environment and I've got to change who I am so that I can get along in the environment. Okay, so I feel like you're kind of making this switch in life right now. And sometimes it's kind of the first half of life when we're kids, and we're with parents and family or whoever raises us, and then school or whatever, and our first jobs and all this stuff, and we're learning how to be with friends, we're learning how to share. It's kind of like the world is how it is, and the kid has to become the right fit to get along in the world. Otherwise, you're going to have a dysfunctional kind of experience, right? So a lot of us, when we're kids, we end up changing who we are to fit in, to get along, right? To get along, you got to go along, right? But then there comes a point in life, and I wonder if maybe you're at that point now, and I think this happens several times throughout our lives. It can happen every other day, really. It's not, it's not really connected specifically with certain ages. Sometimes it's a Saturn return that will do this. And sometimes it's something on the mundane level that happens to us that kind of gives us a reason to say, wait a minute. Now I got to figure something different out. Like there's a life event that happens, and we stop trying to fit in by going along, to get along. I think that we realize that I have to be true to who I am. And if that means that this is not the right environment for me to do that, I got to start thinking about how I can change the environment. Because these two cards are saying we're staying true to ourselves rather than changing who we are so that we can fit in and, again, kind of, get along, right? So anyway, and that's going to lead us to this mobility. That's going to lead us to really being the vehicle of who we are and really maximizing our potential. This is insane potential. You really are the star, right? You really are the star. This is insane potential that you have, and you have to honor it. And whether this is now this is the Princess of Cups. This is kind of, to me, feels like this is your talent, or this is your love, this is your aspiration. Whatever this is, don't abandon it. We may feel a little bit stuck, and we may feel that we're sort of revving the engine, but the car's not getting out of the mud. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll make those little changes that we need to get our car out of here and get it to the right kind of road for us. Yeah. And of course the chariot is the vehicle, right? But this is what that dream is. This is who you are. This is what you love. This is what you're passionate about. This is your talent. This is your aspiration. This is what you really, truly desire to do and to express and to fulfill. It's the dream that you wish to manifest. Okay. And, well, let's see. So we have our majors, and we got our sun and chariot and the magician and high priestess. We have our fire energy here. We got the water energy here, which is really at the top. This is what you're looking at. This is you're saying, I'm not giving up on this. This is what is most important to you in life, because this is really an outward symbol of who you are as a spiritual being. Okay? So we have that water, but we've got some air as well. Right? And we don't have any earth energy, and we don't have that because it doesn't matter. Well, we've got this one. This is the King of Pentacles, the fixed earth energy. But we don't have any small cards, minor arcana earth cards, because it doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why. Okay? What matters is how and why you're doing it. So that's kind of what's going on here. I think there's this shift that's taking place that says, Why am I doing this? Why am I adapting to this environment? Is this the right soil for me to grow into the oak tree that I'm meant to be? Or am I changing my nature in order to fit into this environment? Why? Because we feel like we can't leave. We feel like we can't do anything to change it. We feel kind of powerless to make anything any different, right? It doesn't really matter what you're doing, but that you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it to be in accord with your own soul and spirit. You're doing it because you are trying to be the vehicle of your destiny. And you're doing it because you feel that it is the highest aspiration that you have right now, as an outward expression of who you are as a spiritual being. Okay? And the Eight of Wands underneath everything, to me, feels like there's this growing anxiety as well, because it's something prompting you that says, we need to go somewhere. We need to do something. I want to keep going in life, but I feel stuck in the mud. And I wonder if the King of Pentacles is just kind of supposed to be just like dropped right in the middle here that says, yeah, we've got this perfect energy. I mean, this is absolutely great. But then we get this feeling of being stuck. And it's like, this is what we want to do, but why do we feel stuck? Well, then we got the Eight of Wands that says, I keep revving the engine, but like nothing's happening. And so we're wasting a lot of, it's kind of like we're antsy. We've got the jazz hands. We're tap dancing on the shag carpet. We feel nervous. We feel anxious. We feel that we need to be doing something, but we don't know what to do. That there is this urge in you to fulfill your destiny, to pursue this aspiration, but we may feel like this environment is absolutely wrong for me. Because every time I hit the gas, I just spin the wheels and the mud goes flying everywhere. That's because you're a Corvette in a swampy, muddy sort of landscape. You're not a monster truck, right? Or whatever, maybe you are, but you get the idea, right? And so we're starting to feel that, okay, something really has to change here. I have to do something. So we get the creative problem solving. We start thinking, okay, well, I just need to sort of temporarily change who I am, so that I can get out of the mud. I need to put some chains on my tire. I need to put some wood planks underneath my tires so that I can get out of the mud. And then once I get to a better, sort of better terrain, a better road, then I can kind of let go of all that extra stuff and I can be who I am. Okay? So it's kind of like we have to temporarily, we have to make the choice really to alter who we are, alter our approach to something in a way that's going to allow us to move forward in our chosen direction, but without changing who we are. Right? So it is that ability to be flexible and adaptable and elastic. That's what the Magician is all about. Trying to find any way that we can, whatever it takes, to let the light shine through you. That's what the Magician does, receives the spiritual electrical current from above and is able to transmit it out into the physical world, the material plane. Perfect magician, right? A pure conduit, a clear channel of that spiritual energy. So it's kind of like saying whatever it takes to get things going, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to try to always make the right decisions, and we're going to try to do what is going to honor our true selves, honor our path, honor this gift or this aspiration, whatever it is that you're trying to do right now. Okay. The High Priestess in the background. This is, I think, this was Spirit was leading you here. Okay, and I think that this kind of represents almost an awakening or an epiphany or a dream or something that happened in the recent past that sort of brought you to this awareness. It's like Spirit was leading you by the hand, trying to show you how to get to your best life, right? Your paradise, your heaven on earth, Garden of Eden kind of thing. Because the High Priestess, card number 2, what's behind the High Priestess? Well, card number 3, the Empress. Right, your best life, your paradise, the fulfillment and the realization, the materialization of who you are as a spiritual being. So I feel that Spirit was leading you, trying to lead you to that best life, and somewhere along the way we got stuck in the mud. Somewhere along the way we started conforming or adapting to our environment in a way where now we feel like we're not doing that like we wanted to. We're not following that aspiration. But I feel that this is that moment too where we wake up and we have that epiphany, we have that realization or that startling dream. And I do think you've been having a lot more vivid dreams lately. Yeah. And I think that it's kind of prompting you to say, okay, wow, I need to make some changes so that I can get back on the right path for me. Yeah. It's the way that your own soul is trying to get you to look at something. So your unconscious may throw up these images in your dreams and things like that, or in even daydreams, slips of the tongue, synchronicities, right? Spirit's been trying to get your attention that says, hey, you are a square peg and you're trying to fit into a round hole right now. You are a Corvette that's trying to drive this off-road course, and Spirit's been trying to get your attention because Spirit's trying to drag you, almost grabbing your pants in the back, grabbing at your heels, trying to say, the Empress life is this way. Okay. And of course, our chariot, moving forward, trying to be the best vehicle that we can to fulfill the destiny of who we are meant to be, what we are meant to accomplish, what our destiny really is, trying to fulfill this insane, crazy potential that you have. And I think we have to, especially with our Three of Wands, we have to accept who we are. Not try to be something that we're not. Not try to fit ourselves into a life that really isn't the right one for us. Yeah. And so this is an authentic path for you. Okay. And Path of the Serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. The Eight of Swords as your general energy. I think that you have been overthinking things, and sometimes our mind gets so wrapped up in these tangles of thought that we may miss, this may fade into the background because it's just sort of tangled up in this that we can't perceive those subtle signs, symbols, and synchronicities and dream images that Spirit, that your own soul is sending your way, because we're overthinking everything. And so an overactive mind we're trying to do these math problems and we're so busy calculating that we're not going to feel the intuition. That we have to sometimes clear the mind, right, in order to perceive that intuition. So I think we've been looking for answers for a while here, but maybe we were trying to use the intellect to investigate and to discover the answer and to solve the problem, rather than kind of getting creative and using the intuition, that sort of thing. So the Sun card in your environment and in terms of your relationships, I really feel like this is you radiating your light out into the world, again, as the sort of perfect conduit, the perfect conduit of the spiritual energy. The magician really becomes the sun, right? Or the magician, as the magician is functioning in its perfect way, is sort of represented by the sun. Okay? Because the sun is the sun is the sun. No matter what the environment is, no matter what's happening down here on Earth or elsewhere in the universe, the sun is just fusing elements together and radiating this light and heat. The sun is just going to be who it is no matter what. Okay? For all intents and purposes, eternal, okay, immortal. I know that obviously stars can and will, die or implode or explode, and supernova or whatever, white dwarf, I don't know. But for all intents and purposes, this is always going to be there. And I feel that this is that core essential part of you that says, I am who I am. And I'm not going to try to be something I'm not, just for the sake of getting along in this environment. It's kind of like you're going to put on a little disguise. You're going to put on a little hat, some glasses, a fake nose, and the sun's going to just be walking around through this life that isn't its life, right? So this is kind of you not turning down your light, not putting on a disguise, not trying to change who you are or pretend you're not you, just to get along in some situation. Okay. Now, sometimes we have to be a little strategic, and I'm thinking of the extended reading. I'm thinking of the Jing reading that we're going to do, and the idea of dimming your brightness. Sometimes that's the best strategy. Sometimes, sometimes the wise person has to play the fool, right? Sometimes for a temporary period of time, we have to put on the disguise. Sometimes we have to wear the mask and alter our appearance, and turn down our light in order to make the moves we need to make to get out on the open road, and then we're just going to be ourselves, right? And so that brings us back to the magician too, because the magician is the performer. The magician is the one that can wear very many masks, can wear any hat at all, any disguise at all. But just like mercury, the metal, the quicksilver, can enter into combination with any other element or metal, right, that exists on Earth, but can be separated from that metal through whatever kind of process, I don't know how you do it, and will still remain mercury. It can enter into combination with any other element. It still remains itself. And that's what's going on here with you. And I feel like this is the path toward you gaining this kind of freedom to be yourself, to express yourself, to be who you are in the right environment for you, not feeling that you have to change who you are for the sake of anything else or anybody else. Keep in mind the magician, because, we still have to find a balance between being our true authentic selves and also getting along with the environment. We don't want to go the complete opposite way, then you become sort of a involuntary hermit. You know what I mean? So anyway, we get to the Prince of Wands next. This is the difficulty, just getting going. The difficulty is moving the chariot. This is the mobilization of energy. Well, yeah, of course, if you're a Corvette and you're in the muddy, kind of off-road, hilly sort of terrain, you're going to be revving the gas. You're not going to be going anywhere. So the difficulty is to really figure out what we have to do to get moving forward. And that, I think, is going to come through, again, get creative, get out of your head, and we need a little peace of mind. So this is the Two of Swords. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The Two of Swords, it's a card of choice. It's a card that says we need to figure something out. It's a card that says I want peace of mind. I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make the decision in life. I want to be able to implement the right plan in life that's going to allow me to get a good night's sleep. Okay, that's the Two of Swords. But the Two of Swords is also a clue, because it says that if we get out of this black and white thinking, if we get out of this math problem mentality, if we can temporarily quiet down our mind, then what we see is that little moon card, right? That little moon, crescent moon at the top of that card. That's a reference to our high priestess. The high priestess is the full moon energy. It's the widening of the psychic aperture. It is an opening of the third eye. It's the full moon. And we're sort of, the more we're able to get out of our heads a little bit and to stop overthinking, the more clearly we will begin to see the intuition and to experience that and to feel that. So this is the solution right here. This is the way that we're able to tap into all of this creativity and all of this energy and all of this movement by trying to stop overthinking, get out of the head and feel and allow the intuition to guide us. Because that high priestess is trying to guide you to your Empress life. Mystery card, maybe the Empress. Let's see what we have. Of course, that would be absolutely perfect if it was the Empress. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Let's see what we have. The Eight of Wands. All right. Another one of these. It's kind of implying that we need to do this quickly. Okay? That we've been stuck for a time now, and I think the longer we stay in our analytical mind, the more difficult it will be to get things moving. Okay, so this is kind of an urgency here. I think that this is also the idea that with the Eight of Wands in the Thoth deck, see all these lightning bolts, all these bolts of energy, right? These lines of fiery energy here. They're going in many different directions. Okay, so our energy is kind of scattered. It's almost saying that we're trying too many different things at once. And so it's creating a complexity. It's kind of spreading our energy very thin. But in the Pamela Smith Tarot, all the wands are going in the same direction. So I feel like these cards are very, very important together, because the energy that would lead us to success is being scattered by too many different ideas at once. It's like we're trying to go in too many different directions. Can you imagine that if you're trying to move left and right at the same time, what's going to happen? Your body's going to be tense. You're going to burn a lot of calories, but you're not going to move. We're going to feel still. It might just be like vibrating a little bit, you know? Imagine trying to walk forward and backward, left and right, all at the same time. I feel like that's kind of the tension that we feel. And it's exhausting, right? So the Eight of Wands in the Pamela Smith is saying we need to get all that energy and just aim it in one direction. Think how fast we're going to go. It's kind of like you're in your car, in your Corvette, trying to get out of the mud, and you're trying to go in reverse and drive at the same time. That doesn't make any sense, you know? And so I think this is part of where we need to get creative, and we need to put all of our energy into one particular direction. We need to get out of the mud. We need to get to the open road, and then we can be done with those things. It's kind of like when you have to use certain tools in life, right, or certain strategies. Just because you said, okay, well, there's some nails here, I got to get the hammer out, and I got to hammer the nails in. Okay, now that job is done. Are we going to hold the hammer for the rest of the day? Are we going to go like cook dinner and still holding the hammer? Are we going to go tuck our kids into bed? I'm still holding the hammer. We're not going to polish the china. I'm still holding the hammer. No, we have to set that tool down. I don't need that anymore. Okay. And so I think that's a really strong message here too, because then it's kind of like the magician is able to, that quicksilver, right, able to separate itself out from that energy. We take on a certain level or a certain strategy or a certain persona that's going to help us to get through a situation. But once we're out of that situation, we can take the mask off. We can put it down. You know, you don't see boxers, they wear the gloves in the ring, right? But then when they're out there trying to make coffee and stuff, and they're still wearing the boxing gloves, like that doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an Jing reading. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.